Have you taken into account for the overhang?
Oh no, I got his head cut off.
I'm going to have you beat.
Not easy to get him up there.
Watch out for the stormtroopers.
Yeah, he's up in the clouds.
He's stuck in the clouds.
Can you lengthen this leg?
No, unfortunately, there.
Can you shorten that one?
Nope.
Oh, we could. Anybody got a knife?
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
How's that?
Yeah. Almost. Close.
Speak up. Okay. All right. Did everybody have enough pizza? Yeah. How was the pizza? Good. Excellent. That's good to hear. It was pizza, yeah.
How much do we owe you?
The bill will come in the mail.
Pierre will make sure it's very prompt.
Yeah, don't worry about being. It'll be prompt, and you'll have to also pay for postage.
Well, as long as it's not more than $50 each.
What?
We're not sure yet, but I'm sure that we'll take that under advisement.
With the way the loonies going, it's going to be about $100 each.
Yeah. Yeah, with inflation and everything like that.
Well, we have to make up for 2.5 years of no shows.
Well, that's right. Yeah. We got all this lost revenue that we have to account for. I mean, that's the excuse of every hotel and every restaurant in Canada
I
right
thought I
now.
heard Andy say he was buying around. I just assumed he
Do
meant
you
around
believe
pizza.
that? Do you believe what he's saying?
Which Andy?
Oh, that one over. Where is he? That one over there. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's Dutch.
All right.
So that ain't happening.
No, probably not. Okay. Well, it's good to see everybody. And first off, one thing that I'd like to do is for all of the volunteers that participated in the show, a heartfelt thank you from all of us. From all of us on the show chairs and also the executive, a very heartfelt thank you. Without you guys, the show wouldn't have been as successful as it was. Preliminary results, basically, we've had, I think, probably close to the highest total of people through. We had a weekend where we had 1,300 plus come through, which is pretty good for a coin show in Canada. And the new venue went over very, very well. We're very, very pleased with that. And I mean, the thing is, the city's professionalism was definitely evident. Everything went without a hitch. I mean, admittedly, okay, we had a little bit of an issue going on with the parking on Saturday, but the thing is, they went and they put up signs actually directing people where to park. That's the city employees that were there. So, I mean, they didn't even know either. Somebody had sprung that on them as well. So I mean, hats off to the city for that. We did a good job with the food bank donations. Basically, we filled up a hamper and I think 3/4 of another one. Plus, there was a cash donation that was made. And then we will be also fulfilling our end of the deal. Tonight we will be sending off a check to them for $1,000. Okay, so it was very, very successful. They were ecstatic when they came and picked up the box. They didn't imagine that it was as good as it was going to be. And here again, to those of you at the admissions table who dealt with handling that along with everything else that we threw on you, thank you. You guys did a great job.
We just need more signage.
We do need more signage, and we're working on that. So because that's gonna okay. The other thing that we had is okay. The appraisal table got a donation that totaled up to $400, which we turned over to the club.
Wow.
And that's going to the youth auction part of it. And the other part I haven't determined yet where that's going to go, but that was nice to receive that. As you could see, for those of you who attended the show, the appraisal table was incredibly well attended. I did not move from 10 o'clock until 4 o'clock. My bladder was ready to explode. No lunch, no nothing. For an old guy like me, that's not good. Okay.
That'll change.
But I mean, the thing is, we must have seen probably about 300-400 people, and help them through with their needs or requests.
Shooting.
And what do you think the value of the stuff that came through?
Actually, there was one piece that was killer.
Yeah,
Okay, I have a photograph of it.
so do I.
It was, believe it or not, a 1969 large date dime.
Wow. The one that you're.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, it
it was
was.
exactly that goddamn coin. Yes, I recognized it.
It was found in coin roll hunting of a bank in White Ave.
Yeah,
Wow.
it
Yep.
came in a roll, and it is uglier now than it was in 1977 than when I last saw it.
And it's still worth about $18,000
Yes.
in F shape.
It's barely F. We put it, Andy had a microscope there, so we put it under the microscope to confirm it.
Yeah.
It was the real thing. So, and yes, and I recognize the scratches on the portrait side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just handed it to me. Oh, 69 large date dime. He says, "Is it real?" "Oh yeah, it's real." "Yeah, how do you know?" I said, "I used to own it."
Poor little boy. Don't write
I'm still
this down.
smarting about
I'm
that,
not.
but anyway, I'll get over it at some point. But the thing is, that was one of the coolest pieces we saw. What else did we see?
Oh, plenty of sovereigns.
Lots of gold, yeah.
Lots of the Canadian gold 100 sets. Complete.
Yeah.
A lot of junk silver.
And Elizabethan bills by the bushel. Okay.
Yeah.
I kid you not.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many Series
I must
54
have
notes.
counted about $50,000 worth of
Well, there was this one
ones,
guy, yeah.
twos, fives, tens, 20s, hundreds.
There was this one guy who came in with $70,000 in one book, and a lot of it was $1,000 notes.
Which he.
Okay, Series 54 $1,000 notes. He had a good sizable collection of them.
Were they? Wow.
Huh?
Were they CU?
No, not all of them,
Who cares?
but quite a few of them were. Some of the Devil's Face stuff that he had there was BU.
Yeah.
Okay, it was uncirculated. It was nice stuff, but it is amazing how much of this stuff is coming out of the woodwork now.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't think poor Elizabeth was even cold and dead in the ground yet, and this stuff is already. Is this worth something? She's dead. It's worth something. It's gotta be worth something now. You know, and you know, it was.
Where was he when all the news announcements about the $1,000 bills not being?
Legal tender?
Yeah.
To be honest, if you're not in what we're in the numismatic world, not a lot of people do know.
The problem that I found, and believe it or not, okay, I read about it in a newspaper and confirmed it basically with the club and with knowledgeable people in the club. The problem is most people nowadays don't read newspapers. Okay, if you take a look at the Edmonton Journal and the Sun, I mean the Sun is basically like about 2 or 3 pages and that's about it. And mostly sports and the ads. Yeah, the news section of it's maybe about 3 or 4 pages.
No, it's mostly okay.
Well, no, that's the National Post. I mean, there's
Oh,
a
the
veritable.
Journal, too.
Yeah, with the National Post, that's obits in Toronto, in the Toronto area. There's a veritable Holocaust going on over there, with all the Jewish people that are having their obits placed in there.
Get back on track.
But anyway, other than that, yeah. So nobody reads the newspaper, and that is a problem. Because the thing is, it was in the newspapers. The Bank of Canada did publish. These were not going to be legal tender. It did make it to some online services that the Bank of Canada wasn't honoring these or had demonetized them. But still, it was amazing how many people showed up with, stacks and stacks and stacks of this, and we had to break it to them gently that they're going to be very, very difficult to get rid of. Because most people were looking to liquidate. And
They can still just take it to a chartered bank, can they?
some banks won't accept them.
Okay.
They have to go to the
And the Bank of Canada
Yeah.
will only accept them, provided, of course, you send them in with a chit and pay the postage. So you're already getting a discount.
Not only that though, but actually, I remember when they originally first announced today.
Yeah.
If you actually read the fine print of what the Bank of Canada requires, if you're sending over $1,000 face value worth of notes,
Yep.
per household, you automatically have to fill out FinTrack and RCA
Yes.
money laundering forms, all
Yes.
that kind of stuff. You can prove where the notes came from, if it was for back tax and everything, so.
Yep.
Anything that you're gonna deal with to try to redeem some of your old notes, some people just said the hell with it, and sold it for below face value to dealers.
And that is the next thing that started happening, and this is one of the reasons why the Canadian paper market fell off a cliff. Is because, yeah, FinTrack and the feds got involved with it. So, you know, like this poor gentleman who had the 70K in a book, if he goes to get rid of it, you know, yeah, he's collected it over the years. Where is he gonna prove where he got these notes?
You try to go into the bank with $1,000 cash, they start looking at it, and you just robbed the door.
Exactly,
Actually, some branches now will ask you if you do 200.
yeah.
They'll ask.
Just direct deposit $2,500 in cash and ask for my ID.
At any rate, so the thing is, that was one of the more unpleasant jobs that we had, is we had to tell a lot of people that this stuff is unfortunately next to valueless, especially since most people brought us ones and twos, which are demonetized completely. Even sheets of them. And remember those sheets that they used to sell? Everybody still has them rolled up in the tube, figuring that's going to be worth a minute. You've got the stamps on it. Yeah, well, what do you?
Those would still have a collector premium, wouldn't they?
No.
Yes and no, the ones that are actually worth the money are surprising the sheets of the 5s and 10s, because they make very, very little of those.
Yeah.
You can still get sheets of 2s for under $150 all day long. The funny thing is actually the frame is worth more than the sheets inside.
Yeah.
If
That's
you get a
right.
professional
That's sad.
Yeah.
frame's gonna
That's
cost you
exactly what it is.
$300 what the sheets were.
Just wait for the shopping channel.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably
Well, yeah.
have lots of them.
There'll be lots of them
Very
on that. Yeah.
collectible condition.
Collectible grade, yeah. And you're right, the frame is worth more. I've got 4 of those coin things in my office, full of those from that gentleman, and they're highly collectible grade, which means they've been polished to absolute extinction. There's one key date in it, which is unfortunate because it's in G2. Okay, it's not even G3. And yeah, the frame, I was told, yeah, the frame's worth more than what's in there. Okay, fine. They're nice on the wall anyway. All right, so that was the appraisal table. What else did we do? See anything else there? I can't remember, but I mean, the thing is, a few people brought some very, very large collections.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of those, you know, those fake trade dollars.
Yes.
And a lot of those pieces of 8 that were fake. A lot of people taken in by shysters, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, we saw quite a lot of stuff. Most, as I said, we're looking to liquidate, which is in a sense unfortunate. So a lot of the dealers, from what I heard, they bought a lot of stuff. They were buying, you know, like replenishing their stocks and everything like that. Walk around, there was a lot of good stuff available on the tables. Most everybody I talked to had a good show. Those that were conspicuously missing, they get a bill. You know, so it was a very good show overall. I didn't hear any complaints about the restaurant. Did any of you try it? How was it?
Good.
It's good. Pricing okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So for, you know, like speed of getting your food and stuff like that was all okay too? So let's talk about what you guys found was good about the show. What did you guys think? What did you like? Yes, sir.
Youth auction.
Youth auction?
Those kids in there just, some of them just got so excited that they were themselves.
Which is good.
Which is excellent.
Yeah.
And kudos to those of you that manned it. I mean, good on you. You guys did a good job. I heard nothing but good things about it.
I like the fact that there was no elevators for having to worry about.
Yeah, no, it was all flat. That's right. That's good. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, lots of natural light, very airy. A lot of people had positive comments about that, and yes, it does kind of run counter to our traditional pack them in there like sardines style show, which works. But because you know, when I looked around the floor and I thought, geez, the numbers are down, man. This isn't looking good. And then when I heard the numbers, it was actually impressive. So Because the space, yeah. The one thing that we did find when we did the shows, when we packed them, is when people walk into a place and there's lots of people milling about, the buying frenzy starts. Because they automatically think, geez, if I don't get that deal, somebody else is going to get it right behind me. And our best shows have always been the ones where people have been packed in sardines and dark. However, the dealers have said this one was a beautiful venue, they liked it. You know, the temperature was good, it was reasonably well climate controlled. Considering it was September and a hot September day, I think that worked out well.
So are we just gonna do now all the fall shows in September from now on?
Yes, yes.
And, may I just interject? Contrary to the myth that's going around and the fairy tale that's being spun, the Edmonton Numismatic Society did not infringe or steal the date from the Mississauga Coin and Stamp Show. We canvassed all the clubs in Canada. We canvassed everyone that we knew had a show, including the organizer of the Mississauga Coin and Stamp Show. We looked on websites, we looked on publications in the Canadian Coin News, etc., on the website of Trajan Publishing. No one had these dates.
That's right.
That's when we booked them, and 3 weeks later, we get a complaint from the organizer from the Mississauga Coin and Stamp Show that we stole his dates.
It's always been our weekend.
So the thing is, if you hear from a dealer, the Edmonton Coin Show is being unfair, they're infringing upon, hogwash. We canvassed, we asked, we sent out emails. Henry emailed all the different clubs, all the different shows. We spoke with Calgary, so we could dovetail and not infringe upon theirs.
And you did a phone campaign too, didn't you?
Yeah, and I phoned a lot of the different shows and that. I asked around. We received a lot of replies. "Oh, these are our dates," or "this is when we're planning on it." So that's when this particular window was open. And we took it because, as you know, in November, the weather can be very dicey. And so we thought it would be a nice change to do it in September, where, as you saw with the weather, or experienced with the weather, it was a nice change of setting up, tearing down, going to the show, didn't have to navigate sleet, snow, and other wonderful things.
I'll tell you one thing, driving that truck.
So you didn't get a response from the Mississauga?
No, and then 3 weeks later,
They booked the
he
date.
phones angry, stating that we stole this, and we said, look, I told him honestly, we looked in Trajan Publishing, in your Canadian Coin News, we
And in
looked on your
history.
website, we sent you an email and asked you, it wasn't in your publication, it wasn't on your website, and you didn't reply to the email. What else am I supposed to do? Or are we supposed to do, right? So, the thing is, hopefully, it won't conflict next time in September, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, and that's,
Some dealers that would have been in ours that went to.
Yeah, that was the excuse.
That was the excuse for one of them. That was the only one that we know of that usually attended our show and didn't. I'm sorry? No. Clyde, the guy.
There were some other ones that had marital issues
Yes.
or health issues.
Yes.
Because you were saying where's the supplies guy?
Yeah, Keith unfortunately couldn't make it. He was having issues, and so he's expected to be. He wants to be back already in spring. Yes.
But he's Alberta anyways.
Yes, he is. He's from
going
Calgary.
to Mississauga.
No, he wouldn't go to Mississauga.
That's
The
why I
only.
said Alberta.
Yeah, the only gentleman that we lost out on was Sandy Campbell.
So are you going to book the dates then soon?
They've already
been done.
booked for
March and
2023.
September.
Yes, and we're
Yeah,
going to
we've
see-
already done.
Now you're the first ones on the block.
Well,
Yes.
kind of.
Yeah. We try to make sure that we book for at least 2 years out when we do a show.
But we have to feel out this venue first and see how things are going, because
Yeah.
it is a government, let's say, civil government run, but like Mark says, we were super pleased and very pleasantly surprised at the welcome we received and the professionalism of the staff. And even though when we went to visit the venue, it seemed very bureaucratic, you couldn't do this, you can't do that, and all that kind of stuff, and you have to fill everything out in triplicate and submit it.
They
4
were
months
very,
in
very
advance.
accommodating.
But it turned out to be completely different. They were very helpful, took initiative, and assisted us any which way they could.
Yeah.
So
They were very good.
Going forward, it will be
Yes.
the first weekend after Labor
Yes,
Yeah, if it is all possible, yes.
yes, if we can keep that, yes.
Yeah.
That's when it's gonna be, and then March, you know, typically as we always have done in March.
And also it's, sorry to interrupt,
Okay.
it spaces it out nicely, 6 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
Because before we had November, then March, and it was like, you know,
4 months.
up to November was okay, but then March kind of almost crept up on you
You
in a
just
hurry.
never got out of a show, you know, basically.
Yeah, so.
Milos.
Just wanted to comment, totally unexpected. I actually had a number of unsolicited comments from the attendees, like from the public, that they were very pleased with the show, and several people said that they felt very safe.
Okay, that's good to hear.
So,
Yeah,
compared to because obviously they
Yes.
to the our previous shows.
and that definitely was a concern. Okay, so, all right, we've talked about what was good. More dealers, yeah.
I'm actually working on some
And
US
that's a
deals.
good point that Milos raises. If you know of anyone who wishes to have a table, please let me know, and we can get them the form and then start the process.
There's definitely room for expansion in the show, yes.
Yes,
Yeah, we
and
did.
try to get a hold of those people with their banker's hours.
You
and
pretty much
their-
have to go there with counterfeits to get their attention.
their email request form.
That's
and
your job.
I'm still waiting for their reply.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's a problem. I agree.
Any more suggestions, what we can do better, or what? Yes, sir?
One thing that I didn't see there this time was in previous shows we had those huge display cases. I think the club maybe owns them, but the movies, I thought there was a couple cases.
Oh, okay, that was
reason
actually,
why they
that was
were-
actually Jim Vanderleest's
Yeah,
stuff.
Oh, it is,
Yeah.
okay.
And I don't know what happened to it, or what's going on with it. But I mean, the thing is, that's probably best left with his family right now, so.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought it was the clubs.
It's not the clubs, no.
Those are his
That's his personal stuff. And I mean, it was a fantastic display.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and I mean, if anybody's putting together one like that, wow, my hat's off to you. It was a really, really fantastic display.
It was a lifetime's effort.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Any other suggestions? Okay.
Signage we'll discuss at
Yeah.
an exec meeting, and then we'll go from there.
All right, so the,
Oh,
No, and that's what I want.
volunteer schedule.
yes, we're working on that.
One of the good things is where your appraisal table was.
Yeah,
That was a great place because it had to go through the whole.
that's why we did it.
Back in the corner.
That's why we
There
did
is
it.
reasoning behind our madness, yes.
That's right.
And they send them back to me with the paper.
Yeah, I know, and we're gonna fix that.
Yeah,
We're gonna fix that.
take care of that.
So obviously a few people must have found their way.
Oh, yeah, they did. We did get a few. All right. Anybody else?
Oh, and just for everyone who's submitted lots in the Adult Silent auction, Howard is going to be working on getting everything finalized, so hopefully that will be done by the November meeting, but at the moment he's not available.
Yes.
So he's in, I'm not sure,
BC.
probably BC on business.
Auction, I think that will instruct a lot of people how to become bidders. So maybe have like a little status check, like, no, like a cardboard posting, saying, hey, this is how you become a bidder, like, this is the process, like, you know. something
Okay.
like, well, just something.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
Yeah,
Okay.
because like, yeah,
Yeah,
I was
sure.
right after, I had about 10 people come to me within a half an hour period.
Good point, okay, yeah, thank you.
All right, okay, so let's do a break. Okay, normally, because of my long-windedness and everything like that, normally we'd have a presentation, and Mirko was supposed to give us the presentation tonight. Unfortunately, because of my long-windedness and everything like that, I've had to ask Mirko to, with a great deal of, like apologies to him, to do it next month. So that way we can get out of here in a reasonable time. Yes, sir?
What's the topic?
The topic was Serbian coins from 1868 to 1917.
Interesting topic.
Which is an interesting topic, yeah, I used to have a few. So, thank you, Mirko, for postponing it, I really appreciate it. I know what kind of effort and trouble it takes to put one of these things on, so, thank you. So getting on to that, the next thing that I want to talk about is you wanted to talk about.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're moving further and further into the 21st century. Who actually knows what the club logo is for? What's it
What does it
about?
stand for?
Yeah, what does the club logo stand for?
Boat landing in North Saskatchewan.
Okay.
Okay, who else?
The Klondike, yeah.
Somebody had their hand up the back there?
That was you.
That
That
was
was Jim's,
Kendrick.
yeah.
The myth was that this was one of the routes miners took to get to the Klondike. The 3 or 4 that tried almost certainly died.
Yeah, yeah.
It was one of the worst routes you could possibly pick.
It was.
But, it was all the rage, man. All this cultural appropriation stuff. Eventually,
Yeah.
the Klondike claimed, and the city moved on to now just no theme whatsoever.
It's just K-Days, a nice little fun fair,
So,
music.
so basically what we've been toying with, and I mean, one of the things that I heard a lot, you know, especially considering people look and see us in the black shirts at the show and everything, and they see our posters and stuff like that. They take a look and they say, what the hell does this mean with the pick and the shovel? I mean, are you guys socialists or what? And you know, so you know, it's kind of, unfortunately the message is kind of getting lost on people. And we're coming up to our 70th year next year as a club. Okay, this club was founded in 1953.
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing is, what better time to possibly look at the idea, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, I'm just saying we look at the idea, and if we get a good idea, we make it happen, about possibly looking at rebranding, not reblanding, it's bland enough, but rebranding the club, or possibly doing a new logo.
Local revitalization, basically.
Basically that, yeah, bring it into the 21st century. Sorry?
Short sleeve shirts.
With a different colour.
I'm sorry, that's where I'm gonna lose you, because I mean, the thing is, I'm still an arrogant old kraut, and I still like button downs with sleeves.
It'll be a different colour as well.
It will be a different color as well, yes. The thing is, most of his coins, like, yes, there was a high mintage year in the beginning, but a lot of his stuff is rare because there was still an oversupply of Victorian stuff at that time. And right now, the RCM is faced with the same problem. There is an oversupply of coinage. People aren't using it anymore. And so it's thought that whatever they do issue this year will probably have the new effigy. But I don't know what they're going to issue this year.
I have a feeling they're gonna be melting down some of this.
Mm,
They always do. Anything at a nickel is being melted down actively because they use it. They have a reclamation project where they're reclaiming nickel.
Yeah, the Alloy Recovery Program.
Yeah, so they're melting down old coins all the time. So that's, you know, that's why you don't see anything from pre-2000 or much from pre-2000 anymore.
I'm talking about even the 2022 issue.
Oh, maybe, who knows, who knows. But at any rate, the stocks of those coins, this hasn't been exhausted yet, and
They just released the new commemorative tooling, the 70th anniversary of the,
okay.
well, 50th anniversary of the 72 series Canada versus USSR. That has the Queen's portrait.
All right, yeah, it still has a Queen's portrait on it, okay.
They'll have
So,
it probably for another year.
yeah, they might. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they come up with a dot coinage if they can't get the dies in time. That would be cool, but I wouldn't hold my breath.
Also too, Paper Money Society, or is it Plastic Money Society, you're gonna have some new bills also.
Yeah, but like the Series 54s, it took a long time for them to get into circulation. They didn't come in overnight. There was still a lot of the old George VI stuff that was circulated well into the 1960s. So no, you know, like, I don't expect that, you know, overnight all of this will change and all of the old Elizabethan stuff will become collectible or anything like that. They're going to exhaust it for as long as it holds out. So, I mean,
Give it 3-4 years before they do any change.
before we see anything at all, yeah.
To make the vertical 5 in 2020, we still have a date coming up at the end of 2020.
Yeah, so, you know,
I read that, for Queen Elizabeth, they estimated in 17 years worldwide, there was 27 billion
yeah,
coins. That's more than 3 for every person on Earth.
that's right, yeah. And how many people have piggy banks? Jars full of these things.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, you know, like, it's gonna be around for a long, long time. I mean, that doesn't say that you don't collect it. I mean, the Charles III stuff is gonna be neat. Okay, that's the first time in my lifetime that anybody's ever changed a rein. And I mean, that's one of the things that got me into coin collecting to begin with. Back in the late 60s, when I was a little kid, looking at these things with George V and George VI on and thinking, oh, that's cool. Who's this guy with a mohawk? You know, and as they were worn down to blanks, and you know, that they were different. So this is going to be kind of neat in that respect. As for the portrait, I've seen the British version of it. Chances are the Canadian version will be similar if it follows along with tradition. It should be. Well, I mean, the last Elizabethan effigy for the British coins was different than the one we used here, but she approved that design, and I guess Charles approves his designs for whichever domain or country.
He's done it for each country.
He's done it for each of them? Okay. So you know, like, yeah, I expect in another year or so we'll start seeing PL sets with Charles on them. I'm probably going to pick one up just for whatever, but the thing is, remember, everybody else in Canada will have one too.
I'll get one from the UK.
Yeah, you're going to, of course you are. Yeah.
It's going to take 16 weeks.
16 weeks?
16 weeks.
Jeez. Is they on strike again?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, anyway, anybody else have any more show and tell? Okay. If not, we do have some silent auction things there. If there's anything that's up for money or whatever else, settle up with the owner, please. And if not, thank you very much for coming out. Really appreciate you all coming here. Hope you had a good evening. And we'll see you again in November. I think so, yes. So yes, I'll call the meeting to close.